Hello, guest. I'm guest host Austin Shuck. Welcome to our program this evening as we continue into our 22nd year of broadcasting Red Barn Radio. We welcome you to show number 854. Our guest tonight grew up just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Charlotte Morris discovered her passion for songs at a young age because of the fabric of her family life and home, and realized that was music. Through classical music, Broadway tunes, and especially folk music, and essentially every single family car ride, as Charlotte says, was filled with the folk classics by singers and writers like Joni Mitchell, Judy Collins, Simon and Garfunkel, Peter, Paul, and Mary. Charlotte's tenacity had her learning a number of instruments on her own before she knew it. She was taking her music and it was going from something that she didn't just love, but something that she needed. Fast forward to 2021, when Charlotte moved to Nashville in 2022, she recorded and released a deeply personal song called Good Kind of Hurt, and followed up that success with her nostalgia-filled, driven single, Tennessee. We are glad to have her join us for the first time on Red Barn Radio, Charlotte Morris.
Till there's no one to bring me back down. Dancing with dangers, life all around turns brown. Then I put one foot in front of the other, and the water races around, and I can't toes hit the sand and the ocean is calling. Wind in my hair, the salt water pushing towards me. I can breathe. It's grounding, calming, everything silence is not. When wishing, wondering tangles me up in my thoughts. Quickly it's pulling me under and pulling me down. Smooth on my skin as anxieties all start to drown. And I can't breathe again. And I can see all of the little mistakes that I blew out of place. I can breathe again. When my toes hit the sand and the ocean is calling, wind in my hair, the salt water rushing towards me, I can breathe. Purple, green, blue, every hue of the ocean brings peace. Awesome. Well, thank you for having me.
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. LexArts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performance.
Our guest tonight grew up with a family who exposed her to the folk music of the 60s and early 70s. It affected her so much that she was compelled to join a national tour ensemble who performed the history of folk, starting with Woody Guthrie and ending with songs from Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, and Joan Baez. While on the road, some of Charlotte's heroes, folk legends, including Tom Chapin, George Grove of the Kingston Trio, Peter Yarrow, and Paul Stookey, both of Peter, Paul, and Mary, performed with cast at various venues. Charlotte has a great story and makes terrific music. In the fall of 2023, she released her second studio recording, the album called Wild Child. It is personal, it is vulnerable, and it is authentic, and it has been making an impact of listeners worldwide. From live television and radio performances to charting numbers in the Netherlands, Canada, and more, tonight Charlotte joins us on Red Barn Radio with her band Connor, Steve, and Dan, and of course, Charlotte. So we present you Charlotte Morris.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This next song we're going to sing is off of that album, Wild Child, and it was mentioned kind of in the first little intro. It's called Good Kind of Hurt, and this was the first single that I released off of the album, and I think it's probably one of the most personal. It's about my stepdad and watching him struggle and overcome addiction and kind of the effect that it's had on him throughout his life, as well as the effect that it's had on his family and all of his loved ones. And yeah, this is Good Kind of Hurt.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You roll the dice just one too many times. You pour a drink that turns into your night. You're always down to take the extra jump. The thin white line you cross is just a bump. And you say it doesn't change who you are. And you say you'd never take it too far. But it's that good kind of hurt, the whiskey when it burns, the cigarette smoke when it's tickling your nose. That good kind of hurt won't make you realize that you've only got one life to live, and I can't watch you give it up for that good kind of hurt. That good kind of hurt. You push the limits, watch if you will fall. You say you're in control of it all. You claim that you can stop at any time. It's just the It's that good kind of hurt that makes you feel alive. When it's all that you can do to stand, but still you only give a damn about that good kind of hurt. Whiskey when it burns, a cigarette smoke when it's tickling your nose. That good kind of hurt won't make you realize that you've only got one life to live, and I can't watch you give it up for that good kind of hurt. That good kind of hurt. Oh, that good kind of hurt. That good kind of hurt. Thank you. As you can tell, it's a pretty personal, vulnerable song. And that's kind of how I like to write my music. I write about experiences that I've gone through or that my family or my friends have gone through. And so when listening to my music, know that it means something personal to me. And so if it connects with you, we're connecting about it together. This next song is a brand new one. It's not out anywhere, but it will be coming out on an album in the future. It's in the works. And this one, totally 180 from Good Kinda Hurt. This one's called Neighborhood Bar. Tuesday night, things feel right, and all I see are your bright blue eyes, shooting sparks in the dark as you make your way to the bar to grab another drink before you think too hard and close the tab. 'Cause moods are vibing, you keep smiling even though you're still a little bit sad. 'Cause here we are at the neighborhood bar. Once you're inside, things start feeling better with drinks in hand and a local band. Life starts to fade away. So maybe work sucks, did your ex, the guy next door. While you're here, it's all whiskey clear. Nothing matters much once we're both drinking like a truck in your neighborhood bar. Darts are thrown, secrets shown, and no one cares if you come along. All are welcome, even those from out of town. So grab another beer before you hear the sound of closing call. Being an adult is tough, and when you've had enough, the spot cures all. Here we are at the neighborhood bar. Once you're inside, things start feeling better with drinks in hand and a local band. Life starts to fade away. Some money's tight and you keep fighting with your man. While you're here, it's all whiskey clear. Nothing matters much once we're both drinking like a truck in your neighborhood bar. You're friends with the owner and Johnny pours the jazz. The bouncer is a stoner and he always has your back. So here we are at the neighborhood bar. Now you're inside and things are feeling better with drinks in hand and a local band. Life starts to fade away. We might not know where the night will go, but we'll close it down. So while you're here, it's all whiskey clear. Nothing matters much once we're both drinking like a truck in your neighborhood bar. Who cares about the fools once we're both sitting on the stools of your neighborhood bar? Amazing. Well, I did one off of the album. I did a brand new one. And I'm going to do a bit of a throwback. The next song is a song off of my very first album. We actually did this whole album during COVID, totally remote. So it was 2020. Obviously, like, the world was falling apart. And I was at home in Pennsylvania with my family, and I had been living in New York, and all of the guys that I'd been playing with in New York had kind of gone their separate ways. One of them, I think, was in Austin, Texas. One of them was still in New York. One of them, I think, was in San Francisco. So truly spread across the country. But I had this album, and it needed to be made. And so we recorded this completely remotely. They would do their parts, send them in to Connor, who is my producer on this. He also played guitar on all of it. And send everything into him, and he would kind of piece it together, give them notes, send to me. I would record my vocals in Pennsylvania, and we put it all together, and I put out this album called Songs for My Next Ex, and this song is called Flowers. Some girls need diamonds and long-stem bouquets. Some girls need gifts to know he'll stay. Some girls need gestures with glitter in the air. Some girls need bows to know he cares. Well, I don't need expensive things, roses, red or diamond rings. All I want you can get for free. Just tell me that you love me, call when you can. Let me inside of your mind. Hold me when I'm crying, hold me when I'm not. Don't let me doubt that you're all mine. 'Cause time isn't endless, life isn't long. Flowers, they die. Some boys sing presents are the way to win a heart. Some boys throw money on her pain. Some boys think loving means they give a lavish life. Some boys can't face who they call wife. So please don't waste your money on the things I'm about to lose. All I want you can get for free. Just tell me that you love me, call when you can. Let me inside of your mind. So I couldn't do this set without doing the title track off of my album, Wild Child. I wrote this song very soon after moving down to Nashville, which I did in 2021. I had been at home for about a year because of COVID with my parents, and I love them so much, but a year is a very long time to spend with your parents when you're an adult. So I made the choice to move down to Nashville, and it was a city where I didn't know anybody. I didn't really have any plans, like literally did not know a soul. And it was also kind of the longest I had ever spent in one place before. I had been on the road pretty much since I graduated college, and there was a lot of adjusting and a lot of new things to learn, and that's why I wrote Wild Child. 'Cause I'm always the one who makes fires out of nothing. So will this wild child choose something? 'Cause I run all my life from state to state, from job to job and mate to mate. And I've only slowed down to create the next disaster.
So, Charlotte, tell us a little bit about what it was like getting to tour with some of the legends that you've got to tour with, because you can clearly see the influence in the music that you're making. And we were talking a little bit about the music you listen to, and you were like, really, that is the music that I'm influenced by, is the stuff that I'm listening to. So this moment that you got to tour with some of the influences of who made the music that you're making today really special. Kind of walk us through what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, I think I shared this with you, but I think that I cried like every other show of happiness, of like awe and happiness. There's a lot of tears involved for sure. But it was, I mean, honestly, it was like something I never expected. It was like not on my bingo card for life. It was not something that I ever expected would happen. Like, one, because a lot of the folks that I grew up listening to, Peter, Paul and Mary, Simon and Garfunkel, Joni Mitchell, Judy Collins, some of them are dead. A lot of them are not, you know, touring or making music anymore. And so as somebody kind of just starting out in the industry, it never even crossed my mind that I would have a chance to share the stage with any of them. And so the fact that I got to not only sing and share a stage with Peter, Yarrow, Noel, Paul Stookey, Tom Chapin, George Grove, like I could have like hang out with them backstage. And Peter was the one that toured with us the most, and hearing him just like casually talk about the March on Washington and Bob Dylan and how, you know, they sing some of the same songs, and it was just unreal, and kind of a once in a lifetime experience that I don't know if it will ever be beat, honestly.
I mean, I do feel like that would be pretty hard to follow up, but have you like kept up with those people that are still, the ones that are still with us, in anticipation for like a reunion tour someday?
I mean, most of them don't keep up in the way that I would keep up with folks, you know, like most people, if I meet out on the road or meet through a gig, you know, we'll just like follow each other on Instagram. Peter Yarrow does not have an Instagram. Surprise, surprise. But, you know, he does email. He has a little kind of like update letter that he does once a month or so, and he'll email that out to us. And so one day it'll happen. We'll have a little reunion.
So outside of the experience of getting to share that with those folks, what was something really memorable like during that time that you really like took from that's helped to shape the music that you're making today?
Yeah. So I think the most memorable experience of that tour, of that process, that I think really, I was already like very set on like, I'm making music, I write my original music, like this is something I'm dedicating my life to. But kind of the thing that etched that even further into my brain as like a number one goal is we were, again, kind of just touring all over, and a date popped up on the calendar for the Keswick Theater in Pennsylvania. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Keswick Theater, but it's in a suburb of Philadelphia. And that was where I saw, in my recollection, to be like my very first concert ever. And it was Peter, Paul and Mary. And I was like 5. And so the fact that 20-ish years later, I was returning to that stage with Peter, and got to play that same stage with him. And then I got to have my mom come up on stage with us. He would always, during Puff the Magic Dragon, like have kids and whoever wanted from the audience come up on stage and sing it with us. And so my mom was there, my whole family was there. My mom came up on stage, and she and I just like stood next to Peter singing Puff the Magic Dragon on the stage where I first saw him as a child. And I wept, of course. And so I think that really solidified the impact that music can have on people, like years and years and years later, decades later, and then solidified the fact that like that was something that I needed to keep doing.
I was going to ask you like where's somewhere you really, really look forward to playing or have played, but I think that probably you just answered that for us.
Yeah, I mean, I still have places there's plenty of places I would love to play.
Where?
I think my like number one goal venue one day, someday, hopefully, would be Red Rock Amphitheater in in Colorado. It's just, I mean, it's gorgeous. You're like one with nature. Personally, that's like how I feel music should be like made and listened to. And that would be incredible one day.
So say someone's just now tuning in to this. You've played 5 songs, some new songs, some not originals, all originals, but some new songs, some old songs, some stuff off your album you just released. What should people be looking forward to or expect out of your performance from the rest of the night?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned this at the beginning, but all of the songs that I write are autobiographical about like my life, my family's lives, my friends' lives. And so I think throughout the rest of the night, you'll kind of, you'll see more and more like vulnerability and emotion come through. And if you like, really listen to the lyrics, I think it'll, an emotional night is what I would say. At least it's emotional for me, so I hope that folks are connecting with it and feeling that as well.
Well, I can tell you that from the conversation that we had before Red Barn, we were talking a little bit about how you write a song, and you were like, like it's kind of my journal, and you were talking about doing a songwriter around, and you were like, so it's really being vulnerable, and someone's like, oh, that's not good or something. You're like, well, it's kind of like, that's my life. So
yeah, it's just like my diary.
yeah, you said my diary. And I thought that was really funny because, that is the vulnerability that it takes to write a song. And I think that the music that you're putting out is certainly very vulnerable, but I think that's why it resonates with so many people.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So you grew up outside of Philadelphia. How does that influence the music that you made today in some capacity, or does it even have an influence? Because I wouldn't exactly think that there's a great folk scene, but I'm maybe uneducated on that. So how does that area influence the music that you make today?
So, I mean, Philadelphia has a great music scene, and some amazing artists have come out of Philadelphia. But I would say for my specific music, it doesn't really play a role. But I do think that growing up in the space that I did, with like the opportunities that I had, that my parents were able to give me, the things they were able to expose me to, like art, culture, people, food, like just different environments. Philly played a huge role in that, and I think that just that general exposure to life plays a huge part in being able to write what I write and the way that I write.
Cool. Well, I think we got time for one more question before we get back to you playing music. If you could describe your food or your music as a cuisine of Philly, what would it be? I don't know. Keep you on your toes.
My food as a cuisine.
Yeah,
of
your music
Philly?
as a cuisine. Sorry to reword that.
Oh, my music as a cuisine. I mean, either way. What?
It could be some other place, but if you could describe your music as a cuisine, what would it be?
So this is only going to make sense to people from the Philly area, or I guess there's a few other people that maybe it would make sense to. But I would describe my music as wah-wah. Do you know what wah-wah is?
Like the gas station?
Well, okay, it's not a gas station. It's not a gas station. There are some locations that have gas, but it's just like incredible. I'm not saying, I mean, I think my music's pretty great, but that I'm not, But I think the reason I would and Wawa has a whole variety of things. You can get hoagies, you can get soups, they have really good stuffing. Like, Wawa is like the mecca, okay? And I'm very passionate about Wawa. But I think the reason why I would describe my music as Wawa is for like me, Wawa has like such a nostalgia factor. And like when you love Wawa, you love Wawa, you know? Just like people are the same, I guess, about Buc-ee's. I don't feel that way about Buc-ee's, but that's okay.
Don't
Some
say that
people
around
are. But I think when you like really connect to it and you really connect to something and you like commit parts of your life to it, like it really resonates and it means a lot to me. Wawa means a lot to me, but I think in the same way, like my music, when you really, like once you get a chance to connect to it, I think it's gonna resonate with you throughout your whole life, hopefully.
Yeah, you said Wawa is like the mecca, so
I went on a
Folks, you heard it
little
here
Wawa
first.
tangent, but
Charlotte's music is the mecca of music, guys.
that's a bold statement. That's not necessarily what I meant, but but it is amazing.
It is amazing.
Wawa.
This episode was not brought to you by Wawa.
They should sponsor me, but that's okay.
All right.
Cool.
You guys want to play some awesome music
Yeah,
for us?
let's play some more songs. Let me grab some water. So this next song is also off of my album Wild Child. And I wrote this as a part of a songwriter's, I don't know, I wouldn't call it like a retreat, a songwriter's project. It's, yeah, whatever. It was a week-long intensive with a lot of amazing other songwriters and with some amazing mentors. And this song came out of that week. And I think it was kind of one of my first forays out of what had been my standard to write kind of sad ballad breakup songs, very folky, very, again, sad. I wouldn't say this is a happy song necessarily, but it is more upbeat, and so it kind of started me on that track, and this is called Your Number One. As I mentioned, I kind of like to write sad songs. And I'm like a pretty happy person, I will say. Like, I think it can be a little deceiving, but I do love a good sad song. I love a good ballad, love a good breakup song. And this next one is just that. And this is called If My Heart Had a Say. You call me up, say you want me back. Ask me if I could cut you a little slack, 'cause times were hard. Yes, times were hard. You're telling me that things have changed, but in my mind I know it's all the same, and it's too hard. This is too hard. I can't come back to you, even if I wanted to, even if my heart wasn't ripping at the seams. I know what's best for me, and you're not the man I thought you'd be, but I know my heart is overcome before. If my heart had a say, I might be yours, but it's time to shut that door. I'm not blaming for the words left unsaid, or the nights I cried alone in my bed. You had to go. Oh, you had to go. But over time I have made my choice. Yes, over time I have found my voice that says move on. Oh, I have to move on, 'cause I can't come back to you, even if I wanted to, even if my heart wasn't ripping at the seams. I know what's best for me, and you're not the man I thought you'd be, but I know I've overcome the we have one more where we take a little break. And this next song closes out my album Wild Child. It's called This Time Round, and I wrote this song back in beginning of 2019 when I was planning my very first solo acoustic tour. I was living in Manhattan. I had literally no idea what I was doing whatsoever. I just decided that I would go on tour. I don't know. I don't know. I just pulled it out of the air one day. And I proceeded to just like cold call people across the country for the next few months. And shockingly, some of them said yes. And so I went on a little, I think it was 13 city tour in 2019. Just me and my Ford Escape. I slept on strangers' couches. I don't know if anybody knows the app called couch surfing, but I literally slept on strangers' couches. And it was amazing. It was incredible. That was the first time I came down to Nashville and fell in love with the city. Anyways, so wrote this song about kind of that process and how in this industry, like, you really have to pick yourself back up. There's not somebody else who's going to pick you up for you. Like, it's all about perseverance and just chugging along and working your ass off. And it's kind of come full circle because now I, as I said, live in Nashville. And this year, 2024, I'm going on a 30-city tour, which from 13 is pretty crazy. And I'm still cold calling people, so that hasn't changed. But yeah, so this song is called This Time Round, and it means a lot to me. They pick you up just to throw you back down. They give a hand just to push you around. It's not exactly science if you're hurt or you're not. No one's gonna listen if you pull your next shot. So every time they say you're not enough, every time they say you don't have what it takes to make it, every time you prove that you are tough, 'cause you pick yourself up off the ground. Make it this time round. 100 letters back telling you no, but 100 more saying this is your show. It's not exactly science if you're hurt or you're not, but no one's gonna listen if you pull your next shot. So every time they say not enough, every time they say you don't have what it takes to make it, every time you prove that you are tough, as you pick yourself up off the ground, and you swear that you will make it this time round. Maybe takes a year, maybe it takes 20 more. Nothing's in your way but the fear that you're wasting your time, that you're just gonna fail, but your courage has got to prevail. So that every time they say you're not enough, every time they say you don't have what it takes to make it, every time you prove that you are tough, 'cause you pick yourself up off the ground, and you swear that you will make it. Now this time round.
We've got lots more music and conversation with Charlotte Morris. I'd like to take a moment to remind the listeners that Red Barn Radio live streams both tonight and on any Wednesday, remaining available online for you to view at your convenience, along with the live audio stream complements of WGAD.net in Central New York. Do not miss a single episode of our program, and be sure to tell your friends and share what you like about Red Barn Radio. I'm very excited to tell you all about our next guest for next week. His name is Clark Kissick, and he is a singer-songwriter from Owensville, Kentucky. Clark sings with a great old soul and a baritone voice that you are going to love. Clark is a man of many talents, and he is actually one of the greatest number 18s to ever play football at UK. And he has songs about all of his life's up and downs, and you have to join us next week to not only hear this multi-talented man play music, but hear about the stories that you'll hear about his life from Mr. Bradford Becker. Off and on the stage. In 2021, Clark released his first EP called Storyteller in 2023, and he released a bluegrass project called Exit 123 or 123 record at Salt Mine in Salt Lake, Kentucky, and he's coming here on Red Barn Radio to be with you next week. So join us for a great evening of music and conversation with Clark Kissick and his band in studio on Red Barn Radio's live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern in North America with your guest, or with your host, Bradford Becker. Okay, and now back to Charlotte Morris.
Awesome. Amazing. Wow, it's been so fun so far. I'm a little nervous to get to this next interview portion and see what questions you have. I'm like, what other food are you going to ask me about? I don't know. So this next song that we're going to kick off is called Tennessee. It's also on my album Wild Child. And similar to the song Wild Child, I wrote this pretty soon after moving down to Nashville in 2021. When I moved, I had, been pretty much in isolation for about a year because of COVID, and I was with my parents, and there wasn't much to do anyway, so I was kind of just inside for a year, not really seeing people my own age. And so when I moved to Nashville, the whole city the city never really shut down, but that's okay. I wasn't there for it. But the city was kind of starting to get back into the full swing of things, and I was fully getting back into the full swing of things, having done nothing for a year. And the first summer I was there was honestly kind of like adult summer camp for me. It was just lots of day drinking and meeting new friends and doing little activities. Then I kind of got to the end of the summer, and I reminded myself that I am in fact an adult that has responsibilities, and I have a job and have to make money and pay my bills. And so the rose-colored glasses started to come off, and that's where this song Tennessee kind of came from, with my love that I had started to kind of garner for the city, and then also kind of a nostalgia factor, because that summer was so fun, but that's not how I want to live my life all the time. And so that's where Tennessee came from. Truck down back roads, listening to Joni way up loud, drawing out the seconds till it's over, 'cause they say that's what being young is about. Now we might not grow together, and we might not tell stories to our kids, 'cause baby we ain't meant to be Tennessee boy with the stars in his eyes, drinking Tennessee whiskey neath the Tennessee sky, chasing muddy waters where the Smokies meet their end, spending nights wrapped up in pretend. I will always have Tennessee, and Tennessee will always have me. Wasting nights just getting lost in neon, dancing to the songs that you don't know, acting like we'll be this way forever. We just ignore the signs that say we should let go, 'cause this ain't what they write about in movies, just booze and passion mixed with lonely nights. But baby, when you look at me, you see into my soul, so it helps the hurt to know. This Tennessee boy with the stars in his eyes, drinking Tennessee whiskey neath the Tennessee sky, chasing muddy waters where the Smokies meet their end, spending nights wrapped up in pretend. I will always have Tennessee, and Tennessee will always have me. I can see life without you, and it's good, 'cause I know I'll never love you like I should. But years from now I'll look back at these months, just happy to remember what I had once. This Tennessee boy with the stars in his eyes, drinking Tennessee whiskey neath the Tennessee skies, chasing muddy waters where the Smokies meet their end, spending nights wrapped up in pretend. I will always have Tennessee, and Tennessee will always have me. Yes, Tennessee will always have me. That's one of my favorite songs to do. I really love it. I hope you guys love it too. The next song I'm going to do is another very new one. This one I think we have slotted to come out in October of this year, so it is something that you will be able to get relatively soon, but not tomorrow. And this, I'm going to say, is another very 180, especially from Tennessee. I'll just leave it as a little surprise. This is called Villain. You can blame me all you want, say I pushed too hard, say I took your damaged heart and picked apart your scars. I'll be be the one you hate, the ex you can't forgive. You fester in the same spot, I'll go out and live. I'm fine to be the one who goes, red flag, no one wants to know. But no, I'll always be around. 'Cause I am the monster in your nightmares. I am the noise you hear at night. I am the voices in your head. I'm the woman haunting your bed. Now I'm just a figment in your streets. But baby, I'm still the villain in your sheets. Go and tell your new girl all about the stuff I've done. You can spin it out to be some battle that you won. Laugh with your friends about the lies you say I told. But know that only shows the power I still hold. I am the monster in your nightmares. I am the noise you hear at night. I am the voices in your head. I'm the woman haunting your bed. Now I'm just a figment in your streets. But baby, I'm still the villain in your sheets. Around every dark corner there is a shadow that you dread. Are you worried I might say something about the double life you led? While you can rest your empty little head. I am busy moving on instead. 'Cause I'm still the monster in your nightmares. I am the noise you hear at night. I am the voices in your head. I'm the woman haunting your bed. Now I'm just a figment in your streets. But baby, I'm still the villain in your sheets. Whew. Need some water after that. I'm gonna do another new one. This again is we're working on it. We went into the studio, I think about a month ago now, from when we're filming this, to record this song, and I think this is quickly becoming one of my. I don't have favorites. Okay, I feel like that's like you don't have favorite children. I can't have a favorite song, but this I really love this one. This might be the golden child for the moment. This is a song that I wrote this past fall, I guess it was. And I was kind of thinking through all of these things in my life that I used to like really, really want, whether it was like a job, a relationship, an award, and how I put so much into it and it hurt so badly when I didn't get those things or when the relationship ended. But looking back on all of those moments, like that's why I am where I am right now. Like that's why I'm here being able to perform for 90 minutes. If all of that stuff hadn't fallen apart, hadn't gone sideways, I wouldn't have then taken this path to get to where I am today. And I love where I am today. And so I wrote this song called Living and Loving. Left a glass on the table with no coaster. It left a ring anything. And I feel the same when I lie awake. And sometimes you drop into my mind. 'Cause you took my heart and tore it apart. And that's the kind of thing that leaves a mark. Some stains, they stay. Some clouds, they rain. Some days they aren't meant to be seized, and some dreams they change. Some bets you lose. Most of the time you can't choose. 'Cause living and loving is just a shot in the dark. And some things are meant to fall apart. I still have the t-shirt that you gave me to wear one night to sleep. It's gathering dust 'cause I stopped wearing that ratty thing. But sometimes I see it and cannot believe I held on for as long as I did. It's painfully clear how the woman I am now would never put up with it. Some stains, they stay. Some clouds, they rain. Some days they aren't meant to be seized, and some dreams they change. Some bets you lose. Most of the time you can't choose. 'Cause living and loving is just a shot in the dark. And some things are meant to fall apart. I don't believe that there's a God who made us each a plan. But I can't deny how all of the scars and hopes falling through made me who I am. Some stains they stay. Some clouds they rain. Some days they aren't meant to be seized, and some dreams they change. Some bets you lose. Most of the time you can't choose. 'Cause living and loving is just a shot in the dark. And some things are meant to fall apart.
So we have talked about how you really like to show your vulnerability and to like be personable when you write the music that you write. So when writing songs like Living and Loving and writing songs like Good Kind of Hurt, when you're in that space, when you're in that sort of space and you're writing that kind of music, Where do you really find yourself writing that best type and most vulnerable music? Like, do you have like a place you really like to go, or like is there
A physical place? My lame answer is no.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess just like because it's where I am, I do a lot of my writing like in my living room, like
Okay.
on my couch. And I do prefer to like be someplace like cozy, comfortable. There's people like do co-writes in Nashville a ton, and a lot of the places folks will meet are like specific rooms at some of the like the different like pros in Nashville, and I don't really like to write in those. They feel like a little bit too sterile for me. Like I would rather it be like more homey and just kind of like more open to emotion, especially if I'm trying to write something that is like really personal and really vulnerable and hard to get through. I'd rather be in a place where like I know I'm like safe and like able to cry openly.
So I guess the main reason I was asking that is I see like you have a van that you travel in a lot, and when you go play gigs, that's like where you're using to stay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's like I didn't know if you were like, I love riding in my van. Me and Kiwi, like when we sit back and start writing songs, like this is where we go. Kind of like, what does that look like, especially when because I'm sure there are times when that creativity hits when you are on the road. So kind of
Oh
walk
my
us
God,
through that.
yeah. I actually think creativity hits for me a lot when I'm driving. And so like then when I'm on the road and I have these long stretches and I'm just kind of like, I'm watching the road, but I'm like zoned out, like on the road. That's kind of when things strike, and the van is a great place for me to do it. Yeah, again, like it is like my home on wheels. Like it's very cozy and comfortable, and it like very much feels like my space. And so I can park it anywhere, and I'll be home. And I do think being on the road, especially in the past, has led to a lot of like inspiration for me, just because like I'm out of my everyday and out of kind of like my routine, and so I get to see new things and new people and new places, and that just kind of like gets the juices flowing a little bit as well.
So when you're on the road, you and Kiwi, we haven't introduced her.
Kiwi.
She's right here.
Say hi.
I wanted to wait so she didn't steal the show completely, because you said that she does that sometimes. But
She really does. She steals the spotlight.
I would be remiss to not introduce the fifth member of the band. But so when you all are traveling, what's that look like for you all when you're going to do a show? Like, I feel like a lot of times it would be like, all right, I got to check into a room, I got to do all this, but you're just always with your spot. So like, do you have more ability to go travel and to check out the spots when you go do a show because of that like flexibility, or are you just like, no, I'll still just go like post up somewhere?
It gives me so much flexibility, and just to like give it like, so I have a Ford Transit that is fully converted into like a livable van. So I can do van life, and so I have my bed, I have a toilet, I have a shower, I have a little kitchen. Like I truly have everything that I need there. And so when it comes to touring and my music, it makes things so much easier. Like as you said, like don't have to worry about checking in anywhere, checking into a room or an Airbnb. But from like a financial standpoint, it's a huge thing as well, because when I'm thinking about like tour dates, I don't have to necessarily worry about like, okay, well, like what's that room going to cost me, or like, all of the additional things that can add up when you need a place to sleep at night. And so it gives me so much flexibility. It gives me a lot more comfort. I'm definitely like a homebody, which is a little bit ironic given how much time I spend on the road. But ever since I've gotten the van, it feels so much better to be on the road than it used to, because it is truly like I still have my own space. Like I still have my things, and they're all in their little place, and I'm not having to worry about, like, will the hotel be able to accommodate Kiwi, for example. And so, yeah, it just makes life amazing and easy.
So you mentioned earlier about how your tour size has grown from 13 to, did you say 50, I think?
30.
30,
It's
sorry,
okay.
forgive me. But so you have 30, it's essentially doubled in size, and it's like having that flexibility. Would you say that that's part of it, or is that just part of like also having compounded like networks that you've built, and or is that like a huge function of it, being able to have that flexibility?
I think part of it is for sure the flexibility, that the fact that I don't have to sleep on strangers' couches. That plays a role for sure. But I do think it just comes from like having more to show for my music and myself, like in this career, because in 2019 when I was trying to plan this tour, the only thing I had to show, like I was barely 2 years out of college. I went to school for musical theater, so I didn't have any like, shiny songwriter's degree that I could like kind of network with. And I really had like nothing to send them. Like I had released a 5-song EP, and that's literally it. And so the people who did agree to like let me come, like were really, I think, just like stabbing in the dark of like, okay, we'll give this girl a shot and like we'll see how it goes. But now I just have like a lot more under my belt and a lot more experience, and I think a lot more support in terms of like having a team work on things with me and be able to say like, you should not say that, or like don't send that, or who can send things on my behalf. And so it's just kind of like all of a group effort.
What is the weirdest thing someone's offered to feed you while you sleep on their couch?
Oh my gosh. What is with this food?
You said it. You said food related questions. Like I'm running with it.
That's my fault. That's my fault. I mean, I don't tend to accept food from strangers.
You sleep on their couches though.
What?
You sleep on their couches.
I sleep on their couches, but I don't eat their food. I think I honestly can't give you an example from like the tour of like a stranger offering me their food, because it really was like, as much as it was very strange that I was in strangers' houses for free, it was through an app. There was like some level of structure and safety. They were, I guess, vetted at some point in time to get onto the app. Yeah, I don't have an answer for you.
So in other non-Scrapple related questions, what has been like what would be a piece of advice you would give to a musician that is on the road and is like traveling a lot and maybe doesn't always have like a team around them all the time, because there are times when you are on your own, so it's like emotional support, just like having people to be there with you. Like, what's the advice that you give somebody that's traveling a lot as a musician?
Yeah. So from like an emotional standpoint, like I do spend so much time alone. And I will say I really like to be alone, so that works out well for me. But when I'm on the road for like stretches, like really long stretches, and the only like kind of interpersonal connections I'm having are like with the folks that I'm, at the venues and whatnot. I think like just staying in contact like with friends and family back home is like huge, and especially because I'm driving for such long chunks of time, like I'll call my dad or I'll call my sister or my mom, and they'll just like talk to me for like an hour or two as we drive. And I think that's huge, not only to get through those drives, but also to get that emotional support that I'm not necessarily getting in person. And then this isn't like tips to keep going, but one thing that I would say, if you're somebody on the road, a musician on the road a lot, is to like explore the places that you're going. I feel like a lot of times there's a tendency to like get in and get out, especially if you like have another date the next day, or if the schedule is back to back. But like I feel so lucky to be able to go to places in the US and abroad that like I wouldn't have gone to otherwise if it weren't for my music. And so the fact that I can explore them and like see what's special about those places is that's something that's huge for me, and I would encourage everybody else to do as well.
Cool. Well, apparently people are hating my questions and loving your music, so let's get back to your music.
Oh my God, who's hating?
I'm just joking. I don't even I have no feed into that. I was just joking.
My God, I was like, wow, brutal audience. Well, cool. Diving right back into a sad one. Thank you. Thank you so much. So this next song is also on my album, Wild Child. And man, it is a bummer. So when I was about 12, my parents got divorced, and that was obviously a very big deal for me as a child, and has really shaped who I am as a person, who I am in relationships, who I am as a musician and a songwriter. And it was something that took me a really long time to process, because as a kid I was like, no, I'm fine, everything's fine. So I feel like, there's probably things I'm still working through, and I'll work through for the rest of my life maybe, but I wrote this song called Love Ain't Real, and yeah, hope you guys like it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sat down at 13 or 12, it don't matter either way. It's too young to be told love ain't real. Stone-faced, no crying, keep silent till you run upstairs. Shut the door, then you can feel. But make them proud, keep your cool, and don't tell the girls at school. 'Cause you know a secret they don't. You know a truth that they won't learn for years. You know you'll end up alone. 'Cause when the two people meant to always be in love tell you that it's time they're splitting up, you know the love ain't real. In high school, 2 houses, driving in between every week with your things in the trunk of your car. Big sister at college, she don't get it 'cause she didn't have to live it for all of the years that you did. But make her proud, keep your calm, and don't let her know you feel alone. 'Cause you know a secret she don't. You know a truth that she won't learn for years. You know you'll end up alone. 'Cause when the two people meant to always be in love tell you that it's time they're splitting up, you know the love ain't real. Years go by, you grow up, and you try to find your own love in this world. Things go wrong, then you run, 'cause you know it's just a matter of time. Best to get out now before he says goodbye. 'Cause you know a secret he don't. You know a truth that he won't learn for years. You know you'll end up alone. 'Cause when the two people meant to always be in love tell you that it's time they're splitting up. And though you try to run away from all the doubt, when so many broken hearts have led you what a downer. I like to cry. What can I say? I'm going to do the next two songs are going to be two new ones. And I feel like I'm like on repeat at this point, but these are ones that we're working on and newer songs that I'm really excited to share with the world and get out there at some point. And this next song is called Changing My Number. And what I love about this song is that oh, cool. That's okay.
Sorry, we seem to have lost the bass feed.
Oh, no. Yeah.
I still got it,
That's okay. We got the bass. Cool. So Changing My Number, it's a newer song that I've written, and one of the things that I love about this song, just like for me personally, is that in a lot of my relationships, like I'm a person that like when I commit to something, I commit wholeheartedly and like throw myself into it. And a lot of times I hold on a lot longer than I probably should, and I ignore a lot of the things that maybe I should notice. And this song, I think, is kind of one of the first times where me as a human has been the one to say like enough. Like this, I need to move on from this. And so for me, it's a really empowering moment, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. This is called Changing My Number. The next time you call me, I won't pick up the phone. The next time you drive by my house, I won't be home. And it won't matter time of day, it won't matter sun or rain, 'cause I'm up and moving away tonight. And I'm changing my number this time. It shouldn't come as any kind of surprise. I've been avoiding your hazy green eyes, 'cause it don't matter that you sting, it don't matter that you bring everything around me crashing down. And that's why I need to leave town. This time won't be like the last, when sorry's turned into come home. I'm kicking out my past and leaving her dead on the road. I know that I'd go to hell if you asked me to die. So I'm packing boxes and changing my number this time. Don't try to find me, this ain't one of your games. 3 towns behind me, they all look the same. But it don't matter where I land, it don't matter dirt or sand, just as long as miles turn into state lines. Everything else will be fine. And this time won't be like the last, when sorry's turned into come home. I'm kicking out my past and leaving her dead on the road. I right, I think we have just one more for you guys. As I said, this is another new one. Another one of my big inspirations growing up, but especially like in high school onward, is the Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks. And it's just amazing to hear strong women sing for and about strong women. And this definitely has a little bit of them in it, and it's called Raised by a Woman.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Nothing stirs his heart like a fresh pack of strings on his guitar. Nothing makes him cry like a sunrise over Montana. 'Cause he was raised by a woman who did everything to get him out of her town. And he was raised with the reckless ability to believe he could live anything down. Born into a family that needs chaos like robbers need to run. Fathered by abandon, set off to chase dreams like moons chase sun. But he was raised by a woman who risked everything to get him out of her town. And he was raised with a sense of maturity that nowadays don't often come around. Stubborn as a bloodstain, set on making his own mark. Wild as the summer rain, turning Nashville skies in minutes dark. But he was raised by a woman who saw everything to get him out of her town. And he was raised to take his own responsibility and never let that fiery woman down. Her handprints on his heart. He's sweet and whiskey smart. He takes his joy from little things. And he loves me more than anything. He was raised by a woman who did everything in hopes he wouldn't end up like her man. He was raised with respect and humility, but best of all, one strong-ass woman's plan. Her handprints on his heart. He's sweet and whiskey smart. He takes his joy from little things. And he loves me more than anything.
There are many people to thank for our broadcast. First, Charlotte Morris and her band and Kiwi. For our guest for tonight's program, we want to thank all of you for listening to our webcast, watching us on social media, and those listening to us on our growing network of Red Barn stations. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn's premier radio partner, Central and Eastern Kentucky's radio news leader. You can listen online at weku.org, and this is your chance to get to know more great music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Those of you here in Central Kentucky area, be sure to check out Red Barn Radio and our weekly program of music now on ABC 36, WTVQ. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall in downtown Lexington. Our website has updates and further information on our guest and future programs. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. Before we close out tonight's program, let's bring back Charlotte Morris.
Thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you for having me and for having us, and thanks to these guys for driving up to Lexington with me. And I think they're driving back tonight. So that is a lot of driving in one day. So very grateful to them. Grateful to Kiwi for every day, every day. This last song we're going to share with you is one of the very first songs that I recorded in Nashville. I recorded it in 2019 when I was coming through Tennessee on my tour. And I wrote this back in 2018 under very different circumstances, but I think that it's, especially today, resonates a lot, especially with the bills that are being passed in our Tennessee House at the moment. And hopefully at one point in time I'll sing this and it will no longer be quite as relevant, but this song is called Freedom.
1, 2, 3.
I see a world that is filled with hate. Through the words we say, the things we do, the stereotypes we perpetrate, and I see a world in which we all disagree about the way we vote, the ones we love, the things we believe, and the violence it is spreading, and our country it is getting out of hand. Don't you think that love should rule this land? So we must put down the armor, put down the guns. We the people, diverse as strong as one. We will send out a signal saying, welcome unto thee. We will raise up the flag that once meant freedom. Oh, let freedom ring. Oh, let freedom ring. Oh, oh, oh. I was born lucky. I was blessed to always win by the wealth I share, the men I love, the color of my skin. But my friends are fighting just to live another day, 'cause they fear the wrath for who they are will strip their rights away, and the rhetoric is spewing, and our country it is viewing the world through a screen. Don't you think it's time we all were seen? So we must put down the armor, put down the guns. We the people, diverse and strong as one. We will send out a signal saying, welcome unto thee. We will raise up the flag that once meant freedom. Oh, put down the armor, put down the guns. We the people, diverse and strong as one. We will send out a signal saying welcome unto thee. We will raise up the flag that once meant freedom. Oh, let freedom ring. Oh, let freedom ring.
And that is all for our show this week. You can see and hear Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web, on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time in North America. And it's always great to hear from you all who listen to Red Barn Radio and our archive performances of your all-time streaming platform. Speaking of you, the listeners, please, before, during, or after you enjoy Red Barn Radio, take a moment to please engage with us. Your comments, your sharing, and certainly your choice to subscribe to our newsletter matters so much to us. It helps us keep growing and continuing our mission to bring roots music, Southern style, to your neck of the woods and beyond. And as we bid you good night, let's stick together, let's appreciate each other, and let's join up next week for another great evening of music and conversation on Red Barn Radio. I am your guest host, Austin Shuck, and if you liked what you heard, check out the What the Shuck podcast and the work we do through Appalachian Pioneer Program. Bradford Becker will be returning next week, and we'll see you next time.